So, what did Trump say about the military? And are you being lied to? That's really what we're going to get into today. It's not so much of if Trump actually said it or not, but just a general idea. Apparently, Trump, there's like 10 witnesses, people that were there that said he did not say these things. But that's not really what this is about today. What I'm going to get into is the fake news, are you being lied to, and how to get past the lie, whether you end up believing it or not, or just stay in a neutral position. So there's a key thing that they do is one outlet puts out this article and everyone runs on it, including Joe Biden. What does that mean for you as just average American? It means you're getting fed lies and you're getting fed it over and over and over again. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to start with CNN, keeping in mind that the original article came from The Atlantic, and everyone falls in line after that. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Truly bombshell report from Jeffrey Goldberg at The Atlantic, detailing how the president talks about and views our nation's veterans and service members who have laid down their lives for their country or have been injured in service. The report includes
when news crossed on Thursday that Donald Trump had once again disparaged fallen members of the United States military, my first response, as it is with...
And I want to point out for those of you who are just listening, he has a screenshot of the Atlantic article. Trump, Americans who died in war are losers and suckers. So same thing, using the Atlantic as a source, which the craziest part to me is news sources using another news source as a source. All right, let's go and go back to now Fox News, because once again, this is not so much about just slamming just one side. I'm like, news is made to fit a narrative, especially nowadays. So anything that you hear on the news, take with a grain of salt. If you're not willing to go look into it and figure out what the truth is, don't buy into it in either direction, whether it's pro-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-Biden, anti-Biden. You hear something on the news, and if you do decide to put like your willingness to believe it or buy it, make sure you go out there and research it. But let's now get to Fox News, because then CNN likes to report on Fox News.
Let's first begin with the Atlantic article and the reporting that's being done here at the Fox News channel. Specifically, I'd like you to take a listen to what correspondent Jennifer Griffin said this morning to Neil Cavuto about her reporting.
I can tell you that my sources are unimpeachable. I feel very confident with what we have reported at Fox. Not every line of the Atlantic article did I confirm, but I would say that most of the descriptions and the quotes in that Atlantic article, I did find people.
She even said herself she did not research every single line in the article that she wrote, but she trusts her sources that want to remain anonymous. The key thing about this is not giving validity into the sources of being like, well, of course the sources are going to want to come out because something may happen to them, X, Y, Z, whatever. The point is, you should not put yourself into believing any sort of story or narrative that cannot be proven. And ways to get around this whole narrative is if you have multiple sources that are reporting on one person's article, there's a good chance that you can believe this, because why didn't this person go speak to everyone? Some people are going to say, well, they only feel comfortable contacting her. The thing is, you don't know if you're being lied to, so you should not believe it, especially now in the day and age that we live in. If Trump did do something like that, without researching it, it's safe to assume if they pull something up from 2015, 2016, 2017, and they're reporting on it now, it's a lie. Why? Because the media, at every single point, any single time Trump does one thing wrong, they report on it immediately. So they're not going to wait 2 or 3 years to report on something. But let's see what CNN now has to say about this report from Fox News.
Coordinated. That's how Fox hosts describe a report in The Atlantic that says President Trump disparaged military members who died in service for our country. But a Fox News correspondent, Jennifer Griffin, says she confirmed key aspects of the article, which she reported on the air on Fox News 2 hours before what you're about to hear on her own network.
So let's go and stop it right there. The thing about the article is there's a bunch of lies in there with a little bit of truth. Think about what Trump did. Trump did call McCain stupid. Trump did say things about McCain. So it's like, let's make up a false narrative, a false story, which just lines up perfectly with Joe Biden, because now Joe Biden is working on this narrative. I'm going to make another video on that. Trump disparaged our military. He thinks low of them, whatever. So they take something that there's a little bit of truth, which we know about John McCain. And Trump did lie, saying that he never called him stupid, but then it came out later. Well, it didn't have to come out later. We know he did do that. So I don't know why he lied about it and why he wasn't just honest about it. But they take a little bit of truth and then build an entire story about it, of building on people's ability to believe. They're like, well, he did say that about John McCain. Maybe it is possible that he would say this about everybody, the entire military. The thing is, as an individual, I'm like, if you don't like somebody, you can slam somebody, whether you're smart about it or not. So she admits in this article that, what's her name from Fox News is her friend, and how Fox News is still denying real reporting. And then Stelter comes on here, and it's just honestly a shit show. I don't like it. It's BS. But the thing is, I don't want people to fall into this narrative. The thing about all of these is all of them start off with the Atlantic. All of them build on that narrative of one single story. None of them did their own research, reporting, anything. All of them did the Atlantic. The dumbest part is Joe Biden did too. Here he is.
I'm going to try to be measured in my response. If it's true, and based on other things he said, I believe the article is true, I'd ask you all the rhetorical question.
If it's true, and based off of other things that he said, I believe it's true. Just because he didn't like John McCain doesn't make this true. That's why, as a viewer, as just a person living in America or the world anywhere, there has to be proof for the exact story that they're trying to feed you, especially something like this. You can choose to believe the media, fall into the narrative. Believe me, it makes life a lot easier. Or you can just have the option of turning everything off and don't believe anything you hear. Biden is now about to go on a giant rant of how disgusting Trump is, everything, just because of an article that he started off with, if it's true. You guys need to do your own research. Can't be buying into this. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's stressful. It makes life a lot harder. It can even feed into depression, honestly, because it's just like, oh my God, how disgusting is our world? So when you're watching all of this crap, just think about what is real and what isn't. And if you're not willing to do the research, don't buy into anything. Only believe the stuff you look into. And that includes Fox News, CNN, anything. Those are not reliable news sources. And it's not easy. It's a pain in the ass. And honestly, if there's anything you guys want me to look into and see what I can find, I'm more than happy to do it. Or if you want me to even find the witnesses or people that say that Trump didn't say this, let me know in the comments. But you guys have a good one.